hand behind her back. She preferred sliding to sewing, batting to baking, and home runs to homecoming. Now, using what we've already learned about verbs, what are some verbs, or what are some things that Katie could do on this page? Alfonso.
Run really fast.
So, the first verb we can add to our list is run. Fast is not a verb. Fast is describing the verb. So run. What are some other verbs we read about? Jaden. What else could she do? Did it say she could kick?
No.
Did you say hit? Did I hear miss? Okay, so to hit something, that is a verb. What else? Dynasty.
She could catch.
She could catch.
She could catch it from icons.
She could catch. What are some other verbs? Dakota.
She can throw.
She can throw. Any more that we were missing? Chloe?
Slide.
Ooh, to slide. Good one. Antonio?
She can catch with her eyes closed.
She can catch. Yes. Malachi?
She can hit with one.
We have hit.
I know.
Sydney? Swing.
Ooh. Nice. I think I know one.
Alyssa?
Read.
Did it say in the text she could read?
No.
Okay, that is a verb, but I don't see it in the text.
We don't
Kyrie? So let's review the words, or I'm sorry, the verbs that we've already identified. Run,
Run.
hit, catch, throw, slide,
Slide.
swing.
Swing.
What do we notice about the word catch? Who can tell me with a quiet hand? Jocelyn. Well, it has a silent letter, but what's at the end of that word? Nina? We have the digraph here at the end of our word, the CH. Excellent. So now, hands down now, because I'm speaking. Thank you. Be respectful. Now we've already identified some action words. I'm going to finish the text, and I want you to think about any more verbs that we see in this text, and I want you to think about how you can go back and revise and make your characters come to life by making them move, adding action, and one way we can do that is use verbs, okay? So I'm up here now. Your text should be down because we're done reading that page. Thanks, Dakota. I'm now reading. Her parents were not at all pleased. Why not piano or painting, they pleaded. What good is baseball to a girl? But Katie wouldn't be swayed. She walked baseball, she talked baseball, she even dreamed baseball. She went to the ballpark every chance she got. She loved the hot dogs and peanuts. She loved the shouting and singing. But most of all, she loved watching the professional players play ball. Sometimes she even imagined she was one of them. Every spring she showed up for Fairfield High team tryouts. And every spring she was turned away without even getting a try. Better stick to ballet, the boy said. What good is baseball to a girl? But baseball was starting to change. America was at war, and more of the country's boys, including the professional baseball players, were going off to fight. I'm going to need everyone to sit and slant at this very instant moment.
Well,
I'm waiting for everyone to sit and slant. Jaden and Dakota. You need to turn your body and face me. So all the baseball players were going off to war. So the fields were almost empty, and the fans were getting frantic. Last week we talked about frantically. And in this text it said the fans were getting frantic, so they're getting really nervous and they were panicking. Even President Roosevelt was worried. What was a country without a national pastime? And a pastime is like a hobby. No one wanted to find out. Finally, Philip Wrigley, the owner of the Chicago Cubs, had an idea. If women can work in factories and even join the army, he said, why can't they play ball? Outrageous, everyone said. Girls playing baseball? No one will pay to see the girls play ball. But Mr. Wrigley didn't listen. He sent out 30 scouts to find players for his league, the first and only girl professional baseball league. The scouts searched high and low, near and far, and to be perfectly frank, they were flabbergasted by what they found. And flabbergasted means shocked. They were astonished. This is in Washington. All over the country girls were playing ball, and they were just as good as boys. Texas, California, Florida, Louisiana, New York.
Wait, what the what? That's not true.
One of them was Katie Casey. Say, sister, said a scout when he saw her curveball, how'd you like to go to Chicago and try out for a real team? Would she? Katie didn't have to think twice. She went straight home and packed her bags, kissed her parents goodbye, and boarded the very next train.
Wow. Wow.
When she got to Wrigley Field, she broke into a grin. There were hundreds of girls. There were farm girls and city girls, tall girls, short girls, girls from far away, and girls from down the block. But no matter what they looked like or where they came from, they all had one thing in common. They all loved baseball. Katie had never felt so at home. Sign her up, said the coach of the Kenosha Comets when he saw her swing. The All-American Girls Professional Baseball League was on its way. Everyone was curious about the strange happenings at Wrigley Field. Unheard of, said one concerned citizen. Girls don't like sports. It's certainly not ladylike, agreed another. What good is baseball to a girl? Blared the newspaper headlines. The league managers heard the talk and their stomachs started to twitch. They knew their girls were ready to play ball, but maybe the country wasn't quite ready for the girls. The managers decided to launch an emergency campaign to show the country just how ladylike baseball could be. First, they designed special uniforms for the girls to wear. Dresses? Asked Katie, but she shrugged and put one on. After all, at least she was getting to play ball. Then the managers signed the teams up for charm school. Pinkies out, girls! Posture! Cried the teacher. Think swans. Finally, it was time for the big test. The girls were graceful, they were elegant, they were perfectly charming, and they were ready to play ball. On opening day, 16 swan-like players emerged from each locker room and onto the field. But something wasn't right. Katie heard it giggling in the stands. It grew louder and louder. Careful! You might break a nail, girls! Someone shouted. Players in pigtails! Roared the crowd. Is this a ballpark or a ballroom? Everyone laughed themselves silly until the All-American Girl Professional Baseball League started to play. And they played by far the best ball any of them had ever played. By the bottom of the ninth, the score was Rockford Peaches 9, Kenosha Comets 6. The bases were loaded, and Katie Casey was at bat for the Comets. She stepped up to the plate and looked out at the stands. She had been waiting her whole life for this. The pitcher threw the ball, and Katie swung. Crack! The ball sailed up, up, up into the air, and Katie took off running. It's a grand slam home run! Shouted the announcer. The crowd went wild, and Katie cheered right along with them because for once, no one was asking what good baseball was to a girl. They were all too busy talking about how girls were good for baseball.
Yeah.
So were there any other verbs that we heard when Ms. Maitland was reading the story aloud? Some other action words? Malachi? Okay, they were wrong. So let's think about something those people did when the girls were playing baseball. What did they do when they were playing at first? They were. Remember when the people said girls aren't good for baseball and they were watching them play at first? What were they doing to the girls when they were playing? They were talking. So, and they weren't talking in a nice way. So when you're talking, that's a verb. So to talk is a verb. What else, Yusuf? Teasing. So to tease.
That's a good one.
Sydney.
Being mean.
So they're being mean.
That's easy.
So teasing.
Whispering.
Whispering. And that has a digraph in it, doesn't it?
No.
To whisper. I need white out right there. That's going to drive me insane. Okay, Dynasty.
Walking.
So walk.
I've never did walk. That's a good one. Walk.
Veronica.
I know. I don't know.
Chloe.
Yep.
Yell. Alfonso.
I always had to think of road. Go. Well, in baseball, baseball players roll. Tackle.
Did it say roll in the text?
No.
Okay, make sure it's within the text.
Tackle.
Was it in the text?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's read the verbs that we identified in this text. One more.
Home run.
That's a noun. That's a thing. Okay. Run.
Run,
hit,
catch,
Walk.
walk,
Throw.
throw,
Slide.
slide,
Swing.
swing,
Yell.
yell,
Talk.
talk,
Tease.
tease,
Whisper.
whisper.
Okay. So track me with your eyes, please. Keep tracking. Keep tracking. So as we're revising today, we're thinking about what were my eyes doing, what were my hands doing, what were my feet doing. And we're going to bring our characters to life. And the characters we're bringing to life are ourselves, because we're writing about something that we do or a thing that has happened to us. So I'm going to show you in my writing how I revised for action. Yusuf, turn the other light off, please, quickly. Okay. So the color at the bottom is where I revised for action. Okay? Here we go. After that, we were doing lunges in unison. So this was the sentence I already had written. In pink is where I revised and added some action. Our arms were balancing and holding the bar overhead. So balance, and to hold, those are verbs. Those are things that you can do. Our legs were moving forward with each step. To move is a verb. Our bodies were moving. We were pulling, pushing, and jumping. To pull, to push, and to jump, those are verbs too.
Wow.
So I went back and I added action words to make me come to life. So here's what it says all together. After that, we were doing lunges in unison, or